Hello everyone, welcome to Mr. Natural's Music School here in San Francisco, California, Haight-Ashbury District. Welcome to my school. Today we're going to do a summary of the last lecture I did, and we're going to try to keep it short, but I'm going to show it to you on the guitar and on the piano. And that is memorizing the number of sharps and flats there are for key signatures, except we're not going to go to 14 sharps and we're not going to go to 14 flats. We're just going to do the normal 7 sharps, 7 flats. There are 7 sharps in the system and there are up to 7 flats in the system, and learning to memorize them is pretty simple if you understand this pattern, and that is, what is a major second? Now a major second is 2 chromatic tones. So if I were on the keyboard to go from C to D, you see there's a black key in between, so that's 2 chromatic tones. If I go from D to D sharp to E, 2 chromatic tones. Here it gets a little funny. We go from E to F sharp, which would be 2 chromatic tones. Going in the opposite direction, for instance, if I'm going from F and I go down 2 chromatic tones, I would be going to E flat. 2 more chromatic tones, I'd be going down to D flat. Now here the spelling gets funny. Since I've called this D flat already, I have to call the next thing C something, but 2 chromatic tones down, we find ourselves here on B. So we would call this C flat, not B. So there would be a key signature on C flat. All right, so we have, going in various directions, we have these times when we cross these boundaries here where there's only what's called a minor second, which is 1 chromatic tone. On the guitar, that equals a single fret. These are frets. Every single fret on the guitar is a chromatic tone, just like here on the piano, every key. But occasionally, for instance, the first note here on the guitar, this open note here and here, is E, and the very next fret is F, as you can see, because there is no chromatic tone in between them. And the same thing happens at B and C. We have C here, and we go down to B. All right, what we will be calling this, if we're here on D sharp, we're going to be going from D sharp to what we call C flat. Okay, so that's the only caveat here. So a major second up or a major second down will either add 2 sharps or take away 2 flats. And going in the opposite direction down, it will add 2 flats or take away 2 sharps. In every case, it's always going to be 2 accidentals. So let's see, let's start here on C. On the guitar, we have C at the 8th fret. There's C here on the 5th string at the 3rd fret, but if we go up here to the 8th fret, we also have C. If I want to do the circle of sharps, what I need to do is shorten the string. And I can shorten the string again. We're going to do this in 2 fret increments. So going from C up C sharp to D would give us 2 sharps. So here on D, we would have 2 sharps. Going from the next note, here's our C, D, going up 2 more frets, that puts us in the key of E, and you can see that's on the 12th fret, which is the open tuning as well. So this is the octave of the open tuning, E, and that would add 2 more sharps. So now we have 4 sharps for the key of E. Now here's where it gets funny. E right next to E, as you see on the keyboard here, you have E and F. I'm going to skip over F and go to F sharp. And because I'm going up 2 frets, I add 2 sharps. So the key of F sharp is going to have 6 sharps. And that's as far as we need to go with that, because we're not going to go past 7. Okay? The next thing is, in the key of C, the key of G, which we're going to find on the 5th string on the 10th fret. There's G, G there, G here. If I take G, which has 1 sharp, now if I go from G up 2 frets, I've gone to A. Again, you can see that's at the 12th fret, which would be the A open string, A. I'm going to add 2 more sharps, so we already have 1 plus 2 is going to make it 3 sharps. So A has 3 sharps. Then we go from A up 2 frets again, and we're in the key of B. And we would add 2 more sharps to that, so we would have 5 sharps for the key of B. And here's where we get these enharmonic spellings. We have B and C are right next to each other, so B, B sharp, C sharp. So we have B to C, A, B, C sharp, and that C sharp would give us 7 sharps. So there we have our 7 sharps. 3 notes each, 4 notes here. C to D, we add 2. D to E, we add 2 more, 4. E to F sharp, we add 2 more, 6. G has 1 sharp. We go up a major second to A. We had 3 sharps. We go up a major second to B. We have 5 sharps. We go up a major second to C sharp, and we have 7 sharps. And that gives us the key signatures for all 7 sharps. Now we would do exactly the opposite. We want to not shorten the string, but lengthen the string this time in order to get flat. And again, if we start on C at our 8th fret, so here's 5, 7, here's 8. If I go C, B, B flat. So from C down 2 frets is B flat, and B flat will have 2 flats. If I go from the B flat here, which is at the 6th, and I go down 2 more frets to the 4th string, that is the key of A flat. And that is going to have 2 more, so we'd have 4 flats for the key of A flat. Now, here's this enharmonic spelling again. A flat, G, G flat. So we have G flat. And G flat has 6 flats. So, B flat 2, A flat, we've gone down a major second, go down a major second, we have 6 flats. Now we're going to start on F. And F starts at the 8th fret of the 5th string here. So we have C, D, E, F. Here's our F. So if I play F, that has 1 flat. So now if I go from F down 2 frets or 2 chromatic tones, I am going to E flat. And E flat has 3 flats. That's 1 plus 2. If I go from E flat down 2 more frets, I'm on D flat. And D flat is going to have 5 flats. And then here we go playing the enharmonic game again. Going from D flat down 2 is going to be C flat. Now C flat is actually, you see here C, C flat is what you would call B, but it's not. C flat. We'd spell it C flat, and it would have 7 flats. So let's look at our 7 flats. We have B flat gives us 2, up a major, down a major second, I should say, moving away from the bridge, gives us 4 flats. Moving away from the bridge, 2 frets again, which is a major second, we have 6. Going from C to F, we have 1 flat. Going down 2, we have 3 flats on E flat. Going down a major second to D flat, we have 5 flats. And going down a major second to C flat, we have 7 flats. And there you have all your sharps and all your flats without having to memorize the circle of fifths, okay? that if you go up a major second or down a major second, in every case it's going to add 2 accidentals. If I go up 2 sets of a major second and a major second, that's going to be adding 4, whatever it is. Now, if I'm in flats, for instance, if I'm here and I go back 2, I'm going to subtract 4 from that, wind up with 1 flat. See, so it's the same as adding a sharp. Taking away flats is the same as adding a sharp. If I'm over here in the sharp keys, for instance, and I move back 1, okay, from B, which has 5 sharps, I move back, it's as if I'm adding a flat. So I'm taking away 2 sharps. So taking away 2 sharps, I go to 3 sharps. So A has 3 sharps. So there you have the key signatures for the 7 sharps, and you have all the key signatures for the 7 flats without having to memorize the circle of fifths. All you need to memorize is 1 interval, what is called a major second, which is 2 chromatic tones, or in the case of the guitar, as we just showed you, 2 chromatic tones is the same as 2 frets, from here to there, 2 frets. We're going in the other direction, down 2 frets, down 2 frets, down 2 frets. So major seconds up, we're adding sharps or taking away flats 2 at a time. And going in the opposite direction, we're going down the scale, we're adding flats, 2 flats at a time. If we start with 1 flat, then we got 3, 5, so on and so forth. So again, if I'm in the sharp key here and I have 7 sharps and I take away, I go down 2 major seconds, I'm going to be removing 4 sharps. Is the same as adding 4 flats. So we'd be going down to A, which is 3 sharps. So that's it. This is basically a summary review of the last class, and I made this one practical. We only went to the 7 sharps and the 7 flats, which are being used. So this major second up and major second down will always be adding 2 accidentals in either direction, or subtracting 2 accidentals depending on where you are. Easy peasy. No reason to have to memorize this circle of fifths, which gets pretty complicated. It's a lot of memory. And then you have these areas as well where you have, for instance, you have like a crazy interval like C flat, which is actually B. And going from the D flat down 2 intervals gives us C flat. We can't skip letter names when we're doing these scale things. So if I'm going up, it has to be C, D, E, F, G. I can't go C, D, E, E. I can't go E flat E. Can't do that. And I can't go A, B, C, F, G. I can't skip a letter. I always have to use the letter names in order, sequentially, and I have to accommodate the sharps and flats, or accommodate the naming with the sharps and flats depending on where it's going. And that's why we get into these called enharmonic spellings, where you wind up with double F sharp or triple B flat. Okay, if I have B flat, double B flat, triple B flat, it would actually be an A flat, but we would call it triple B flat because of the spellings that are involved. So that's it for this week. I'd like you to please go to lulu.com or go to amazon.com and look up my book, which is Music Theory Decoded, where I teach you how to use the interval patterns to decode everything you need to know in music, every type of scale that comes across, so on and so forth. I have this device called the Intervalometer, which is basically, this is the same thing as a carpenter's ruler, but this ruler is for music theory. And on the blue side here we have the major scale laid out, plus the blue notes are your blues scale. And then on this side we have the minor, the natural minor scale, and those red spots are where you would modify it. For instance, a red 7 would give us the harmonic minor scale, and going up red 6, red 7, and coming down natural 7 and natural 6 gives us the actual melodic minor scale. So this is basically a ruler for minor, and you have your 3 minor scales here. This is a ruler for major, you have your major and your blues scales here. So you'll find that in the book. Also online, in the diddly-do below, in the description below, I'm giving you a PDF site and my website where you could just click on and it'll download a PDF file of this device, which I call the intervalometer. You just cut it up, glue it together, put it behind the black keys on your keyboard, and you can immediately start seeing all of these scales, and you can move the slider around, the intervalometer around, to put it in different positions to play that same scale in any key. So it helps you memorize the 12 keys and what it visually looks like, and it'll help you learn the 3 different minor scales, for instance, and what it visually looks like, and number the minor scales correctly, because most people do not number the minor scales at all. They always think of it as a mode of the major scale going from 6 to 6, and that doesn't work when you're analyzing chords in minor. In minor, you have to number the minor scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like you do the major scale, starting from the right spot and having those half steps in exactly the right spot so you can spell the chords correctly. So, thank you very much. Go buy my book at Amazon.com.